Whenever you are.
All right, we are good to go. All right, so we will call to order February 5th meeting of the Park and Rec Commission.
Yeah, sure.
It is 6:33. 3 minutes late. All right. So commissioner updates. The only thing I have is that we attended the the joint select board and finance committee meeting, presentation meeting, and that went swimmingly, I thought. Saul was there as well. Any comments?
No, as expected by and large. Yeah, there is a town budget is somewhat stressed this year. So the full funding of the administration position wasn't recommended, but that was to be expected. Otherwise, the other thing I would note is there was some hesitation around the funding of the field study or field design, just because of all of the other planning items that are undetermined. So they want to make sure we don't get ahead of ourselves in terms of planning field for places they'll be buildings in 2 years. Things like that. So I think just some coordination there. Yeah, it works.
All right. Any other updates? I don't think we have much going on, right? All right. So acceptance of the minutes from the January meeting. Sorry. No, we tabled in February.
I'm going to table the January ones because
okay.
That was not something I was able to get done before. Yeah.
No problem. All right. So we're going to table those minutes from January. All right. Nominate somebody for the PMBC seat. All right.
So this is the permanent municipal building committee. So they have been tasked to run essentially the operations for the renovation to happen at 36 King Street. This is something I do plan on attending all of those meetings, but this is something that during the building process, there should be a park commissioner assigned to PMBC. So that was one thing in the last PMBC meeting that we talked about, that having representative there would be important. And honestly, I mean, you've attended them; they're pretty quick.
They do tend
right.
Their agenda pretty quick.
Yep.
I think I did offer to take this if nobody else wants it.
Well, how often do they meet? Or they meet once a month, or do they as
Twice
needed?
I think twice a month, and then as needed. Thank you, lovely Judy tells us that it is twice. But yeah, I think every once in a while.
Generally all online. Or
it is all, yeah, they haven't done
a virtual meeting.
Oh,
an in-person meeting yet.
Yeah, or not 5 years, 3 years,
yeah.
whatever.
do they don't conflict with ours?
No.
Is it a set day?
Wednesday.
It's always Wednesdays.
Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
It's Wednesday, we're
Wednesday, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Critical information.
Our LCTV band friends, they have all the answers. Awesome. So you guys just have to do the nomination.
Are you volunteering?
Sure.
Self nominating himself.
Is it something that can tag team, or is it? I mean, I don't want to. I mean,
I think there
you get
is
sworn in, or
right. I think there is a
swearing in.
What's the right term? But a seat for each project that becomes a member of the board for that project. member of NBC for that project, I think is how it works, right?
Say that one more time, sorry.
Yeah,
That there is they add members to like voting members to the board for projects. I don't think you become a full member.
so the,
They do, I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? They do have a vacancy currently. So there's that. But yes, in this case, they would have, I think, so the library is a perfect example. I think the last meeting, the representative for the library, they've decided that, you know, since it's built, it's done, they've completed all the punch list and everything, that's no longer going to be on the docket for them to talk about. So there's no need for that person anymore. But yes, you are correct. So during the time frame, like schools consistently have one because there's just so many projects that pop up with the school department. But yes, they would assign someone to that from each of the commissions.
so this isn't for the permanent, this is just for the seat as long as King Street is being looked at as a
Just a liaison between both boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would offer my name if you didn't want to do it. I'll do it.
All right.
Sure, I will nominate Peter Church to represent the Park and Rec for commission on the NBC for the King Street project.
Do we know when the next meeting is, tomorrow? Or no, Wednesday?
I will look that up for you.
Oh.
Next Wednesday. Thank you, Judy.
Oh.
And you're amazing.
Wow,
Yeah,
this
so
is great.
actually next week I'm up to Virginia, so probably wouldn't be out there.
Okay.
The next one, but I will
Okay.
sign it,
Um,
sign up for it.
yeah.
All right.
So nominate, then you.
Yeah, we got a second.
I'll second that.
Kate's not online, right? So we don't have to do roll
I
call.
didn't see her.
Is Kate-
I don't see you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations.
All
Peter.
right.
There's a large swearing in ceremony at an undisclosed location at some point, so.
5 old bald eagles, the whole thing. Okay. Moving on.
All right, request from the town to install EV charger at 300 King.
Okay. So, up here, we have some information to update. Originally, this was posed as a grant that would be completely paid for. However, on further conversation with staff from LELWD, the only way to be able to separate the meter charges so that Parks and Recreation would not be charged for that usage would be to install a second electric panel with a meter on it. And this is something that LELWD can do. However, it's going to cost them about $10,000 that they have not budgeted to spend. So that they just wanted me to let you know that. So in your consideration, you know, you take that as part of your consideration. So the grant will cover most of the charge. It will cover the charger itself, the purchase of that, but the work that would need to be done by LELWD to split the meterage will, like I said, cost them around $10,000. You guys have also asked to look at some potential signage. So on this, we have the potential signage of what it would look like for those 2 spots that we would have listed as those 2 spaces for EV charging. And they were fine with the Dawn 2000.
So they are willing to spend the 10,000, or they are looking to us to supply the 10,000?
So LELWD would spend that. Knowing that this is already something that's like in the process. In the future, they definitely would ask to be part of these grant requests. So this is something that came from town administration's office, and we said we would have this conversation if it made sense. So yeah, that we wanted to be able, you guys asked a lot of really great questions the last meeting that we had. Because I think, Saul, I think you had asked about, are we going to be charged that for our utilities? Is that, you know, and that's a great question. So we wanted to get answers for that. So we dug a little deeper and having a conversation, you know, that's kind of where we're at. So I think they had budgeted for it. I don't think they're like super excited about it, but they will do it if it's something that you guys decide that you want to do.
So the only other thing getting power there is the lights.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, we just have the one spotlight on the flag and the two light poles that are not there right now.
I don't know how much bureaucratic hassle it would be, but I wonder if we just work out an agreement with them that look at the last year's usage of the light. Just that's all we're using. And if they could credit us for, you know, we don't have to have an exact number of the charter usage, but just kind of do a rough number because it seems
An estimated.
yeah, a little silly to spend $10,000 to put a meter on.
Right. I know.
At this point, we don't need it.
So we can go back and ask them that question. I mean,
I don't even think we get that bill for those lights.
yeah, we do.
How much would your charger cost, yearly cost for a charger? I didn't know that.
For the actual charger itself?
Well,
Power, I mean.
Power.
Yeah.
Powerful.
I honestly don't have a good answer for that.
I mean, if it's like pretty pricey, them to spend their 10,000 for us.
Well, when we had sat down and we were talking, they had suggested that we would and we should separate the meterage. So then that way it would be the easiest way to do that.
So that way there would be no charge to us for the power to keep the meter on, even though there's nobody plugged into it.
Yep. Yep.
Well, and even the who gets the money that people pay?
So they would, but it's kind of in the realm of like a public service because it's sort of like a moot, like they're not making tons of money off of this. I think they're.
That's true. Actually, there's tracking of power. Yeah, I mean, if the best solution is to put the meter on, I guess that's fine. But if there's another way to do it, it's relatively straightforward, fair for everybody.
Well, I think the additional meter is probably the most straightforward way, right? So
Yeah, that's clearly the most straightforward way. Although maybe it is. There's thinking now that all of the charging part is tracked through charge point in the app.
Yep.
So there should be a way to see that a little bit of power required to get the thing running. Not a big deal.
No, it's not. It's I know that it's like they say it was around 80 amps. So each charger then's like 40, right? Since it's a dual charger.
Yeah, that's
max.
charge. That's max.
Max.
So
yeah.
During charging, it's going to use a lot of power. That's going to be significant.
Right.
Using during,
well, that's vacant from
idle.
It's idle. It's not
going to be drawing a little bit of use to keep electronics.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So if there was a way just to deduct the charging costs, so we were getting charged for that, if we covered little bit of keep crying. Again, we can avoid spending $10,000 for a meter we don't need. It's,
I see what you're saying. So run it off the same meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just sort of separate the charges.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
I can go back and have that conversation, and let you guys know.
And I don't say we're trying to help.
Yeah.
It's probably the cost of that.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And I guess it doesn't, for me anyway, it's not gonna matter one way or the other. I would say we can, I would leaning towards being in favor of it, and would just say you guys go work it out with Billy. There could be come to a good solution. We don't need them. Whether it's they credit us or they put in meter.
Yes, I've been. Jesus.
Right.
It sounded like a great motion.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, can you repeat that? No. Any other discussion? I'm in the same boat, I mean, if they're willing to, if their preference is the separate meter and they want to do that work, that would be awesome and appreciated. If there is a way to sort of just parse out that little cost of pulling it off our meter and then separating the charging of a car, I'm fine with that as well.
Makes sense.
All right, I'll move that the Park Commission approve the installation of a dual EV charger at 300 King Street with the details of the electrical supply and charges to be worked out by staff.
I'll second. That's our.
I'll
second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Right. And do we talk to the police about like actually towing cars that are parked in the we towed?
Right, so no, we have not, but that is. So I would say if we're going to get to that place, that might be a policy that the commission will have to make, and we can, what's the word, sort of contract with a towing company at that point. Because that way, I mean, the police aren't going to call a tow company. That would be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have to be there to tow property, right?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I think they do. Like, I think somebody, like, I don't know. This is
no, I'll totally find out.
No,
that's a great question.
But I think they'll still need to at least give the ticket and tow, like, okay.
Ticketing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I think, and then hopefully by that point, whoever gets the ticket will run out into the lot and just move it on their own.
Can you think of any other situation where tow trucks just come?
So the only thing I'm thinking about is where we're going to put it. It's going to be nearly impossible to tow a car out at either of those spots, just with the size of that parking lot.
Oh, no, the tow trucks now. They're good. They're good. Like, they have that, like, that scoop and go thing. Where
the other piece
kinda,
is too, we do have to be mindful about the size of that parking lot and the amount of spots.
Yeah.
That was right.
that was a
That
concern.
was the conversation we raised last time.
I would say it's one of those, we should see how it goes and then if necessary, come back and
Absolutely.
talk about a policy. Yeah.
You mean like
Ticketing be a deterrent, just ticketing. I mean, having tow on the signage, of course, but if they're in the spot and they're not supposed to be, just ticket them.
And that's obviously a conversation with the chief and the deputy to figure out, what it is moving forward. We've had that conversation in the past and it's never been well received.
Or do I tell me?
Yeah.
Ticketing. Yeah.
Or do we, I mean, part of me says on a busy day, if somebody parks there and they're not charging, I just don't care.
no,
And that's the piece where I think that, like Tim was saying, we kind of have to see how it's gonna shake out, right?
It's.
How's compliance not Shaker Lane? I mean, not Shaker Lane, at your office, no.
I would say people follow it, but there's also other individuals that watch it and police it, if you will. So then the town administrator's office finds out about it and then they'll go talk to people. So,
We get called as soon as our truck is done charging and it's time to move it.
yeah.
Oh, so someone's watching.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So, yeah, I mean,
This, I'm just saying, this is sounding like it's gonna be more of a pain than we initially thought.
I certainly hope not.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of electric vehicles around, but people who use it will make use of it.
I've seen a fair few, you know, there at the park, so.
I just like, I think, and I don't want to rehash this, like we can spend like maybe 2 or 3 minutes on this and that's it. But when it's, you know, the first gorgeous Saturday and Sunday in the spring, and you know, someone's got this huge pickup truck parked in the EV spot.
I know, I hear you.
You know, it's gonna create more, why is he parked there? You have to tow them, calling the police, calling the office, you know, complaining about it. And if we're not gonna tow it and we're not gonna ticket it,
Right.
then why are we even putting the sign up?
This gives us the ability to do it if we get to that place.
Okay. I think it's just one of those roads, like once we go down it, we're not coming back. Like we're not taking this thing out.
I know.
And we're not getting, you know, then we're gonna have 2 meters down there and
They're there.
they're there and this thing lives there and we're just gonna have to deal with it. So if that's fine with everybody, then I will.
So the one piece, and I'm sorry I wasn't here last time to interject this. The other piece is you are now creating a spot where people are potentially going to leave the vehicle charged for a certain amount of time and not even utilize the park.
Exactly.
Can you put a time limit, like 1 hour charging moment?
The way that it works,
To
because
get
I did it, that was another question that came up at the last
Shut off
meeting.
or on. I don't know how they work.
Yeah, so it does not do that. Essentially it charges the vehicle until it's done, which then your phone would say, hey, you're done.
Leave it.
But then it's gonna start charging you a parking fee. So it encourages you to move it. Cause you know, will keep incurring.
Put up the sign and after
Parking
it's fully charged, it's gonna reverse and suck everything back out.
Yeah. Take it back.
Yeah, we're gonna take.
So
Hey, double.
if you are not happy with the sign or you would like to see it changed, that is something that we could.
This sign, like this, for me, the sign is neither here nor there.
It's whether we execute on the sign.
Exactly.
But I think I'd agree with that, but at least having the sign is a good start. At least if we do decide to execute on it, we have at least had warned people where if we don't have the sign and we do execute, we at least cover our tracks.
And I do worry about just having, so it's gonna be 2 spots
Correct.
that we're losing at probably one of the, aside from Long Lake, probably in the summertime, one of the most used facilities in the town.
I mean, or, you know, the alternative, I guess, are we required to have that signage? Are we required to make them EV spots only?
I think you do, and that's part of the grant, because that was you need to be able to have them available for the public, and they also have to be available for that minimum of 12 hours, or they were happy with the from dawn to dusk.
And the town wants us to do it.
It is something that they have put in. We are considered a green communities. The town administrator's office have put in for some of these grants to put these up in different locations.
What's the parking charge? So I
We
have,
both are like,
I was like,
because I think if you make it prohibitive, sure, like, okay, now it's $40 an hour.
it's
or
not,
$50 an hour to park there.
The rates vary based on the time of day as well, for charging.
What was the other thing?
I haven't been down that far.
Yeah.
About 2 more spots alone.
So like, that's, you know, if it's a,
It also depends on how fast the charger they put in, because like the one at,
This is a slow one.
yeah, so the one at, I had a rental electric car that I took over to the Toyota dealership that had the free charger. And that thing goes out there for 24 hours.
Forgive me, I don't have the breakdown of the parking lot in my brain here, but there's no space to even create two additional. Again, I haven't been in that
Yeah.
parking lot in probably 8 or 9 months. I can't picture, but yeah, making 2 additional spots isn't obviously.
So it's estimated at $5 for 2 hours.
for parking?
No, for
Oh.
the price for juice.
Charger.
So here you go. So it is based off of hour.
So my question is, I park it at 10. I know this is, you know, not
10 a.m.
realistic.
Okay.
It's done charging at 11, but I sit it there till 3 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
How much am I being charged post charging the car for the parking that you know what I'm saying?
I
for the-
do.
So you can change the rate.
So I think if we can change the rate so that it's, you
And the
know,
reason I'm saying that is all of the different places with charge point there, the cost thereafter is ranging from $3 to $7.50
per,
per hour after
which
you.
is a bargain for me, you know,
Right.
sure.
Not out here though. I mean, it's a bargain in the city, but it's not a bargain out here.
Right.
Yeah, but most people I think are used to being in the city parking and
Right.
$7 for an hour?
Yeah, right.
Sign me up.
I'm in, yeah.
I'm in.
So I believe that since this is something that LELD has already put together, that's something that, yeah, they would operate the same exact way.
I mean, you know, be in the Park and Rec Commission and, you know, we want to follow through with the green community stuff. I get it. Charging station. I just worry about, and it's one of the, you know, it's like you worry about the worst case scenario.
Right.
And it probably won't happen.
We hope it.
Yeah, we hope it won't.
So
So
we know that we have had these experiences.
exactly. So
It's not
I think
our
we
first
just-
rodeo.
it's
It's not our first rodeo, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think, you know, we stick with our sort of, you know, vote and move forward, but I think we need to be cautious moving forward, just in terms of like making sure things are.
On the sign, do you need to have it say ticketed and towed, or just towed?
So the police take note means that they will, they are allowed to ticket at that point. So I don't think that it has to verbally say that on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually with a tow comes a ticket automatically.
All right. Been over our allotted 2 to 3 minutes there, but that's all right.
No.
All right, so now Light and Water Commission Community Grant Acceptance.
Yeah. So we, Tim brought this really cool product, kind of to the table to take a look at. It's a 3D projector. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them before, but essentially, you install a projector in the ceiling, it projects down to the floor, and there's all these different types of games where kids can interact with each other. And it just would be a really great addition to the preschool room that we've set up. So we looked into it and we got a pretty good price for it. So, you know, we thought about, well, is it something we can eat or could we, you know, find a grant for it? So the Light and Water Commission does have this community grant. So we applied and I went to the meeting on January 24th. So they decided that they were going to cover the entire cost for the projector, the installation, and the 5-year license fee, which is the entire invoice for this projector. And we did go through the town administrator's office, because when you do any sort of gift acceptance, you have to do that as well. So they have approved it. So it's, you know, up to you guys if you would also like to approve that, please.
Discussion, questions?
Just in terms of what sort of, I mean, are all of the games and activities for preschool age kids, or the range, or?
Every age. So yeah, it goes K through seniors and everything.
Yeah.
There is actually, as part of the platform, there's 27 dedicated packages to spectrum related play. So that is, you know, something that we haven't really delved into yet, but you know, even with the schools, they utilize our space at times. So that'll be something that we'll be able to hopefully share when the group's there during the day. But yeah, the whole idea is, you know, it'll be fun for the preschoolers because there's games like Bubble Pop and some of the fun stuff. But for even like the teen center upstairs, you know, there's soccer, ice hockey, anything that you could really want to do. And then, you know, there's a large STEM component to it as well, which we hope to get use out of for, you know, the summer camp and some other stuff that we do down the road. So once we get it on site, get it kind of set up, you know, we'll get everybody in, take a look at it and start to play around with what we can actually do with it. John and I talked about, you know, doing like an after school program, depending on, you know, what we actually have once we see the packages. Is there something that, you know, we can utilize it for as well?
You imagining upstairs, or where do you think?
So it's going in that front. The electric and the drop were installed last Thursday. The actual unit is sitting on my desk. It's going to be installed on Wednesday. It's going to go in that front room. So we put the treehouse and the play and the preschool in the back room. Okay. The iFlick's going to go in that front room. So it's just going to be, what's that?
So on the main floor where the God is.
Right where the God is. Cool. So that'll be kind of like a multi-use area now. And, you know, really we can do it. The other piece is, now that we have the preschool room set up, we're doing the free drop-in and stuff. So we're all going to start looking at for upstairs and the preschool room, creating a birthday party situation. So we'll have birthday opportunity to do, you know, opportunities for rentals for the preschool room and the front room where the iClick will be.
Yeah.
That's where we do food, or upstairs in that room. So we're looking into those opportunities as well, because we've already gotten like 3 requests since we opened the preschool room. Hey, I have a birthday party here.
Yeah.
So
Can you move it like up and down, or is once it's it's stationary?
So this particular unit drops down 90 degrees, and we can project it on the wall as well.
Yeah.
So there is an interactive play this way as well as straight down. It is movable. We could theoretically take it to wherever we're going. Just you need the install with cost the second time, and we would need whatever type of interface for the ceiling. Like there's a special drop kit.
Yeah.
They sent along for our ceiling.
It's like a yurt.
Yeah.
You could move it. Do you really want to?
You know, at 36, ideally, you know, yes. But would we move it to something like that? Yeah. I mean, over there, especially with the higher ceilings, and then you would get a much bigger gameplay out of it.
Sure.
Right now, we're going to be about 8 foot by 6. I'm sorry, 8 foot by 5 foot. The largest that it goes is 15 by 9. So.
What's the license fee after the first 5 years? Is it like 5 years?
It changes based on their agreement with the game people.
Sure.
So they have to renegotiate terms on the platforms, and then obviously that's passed down to the end user. So he says it stays pretty flat, about 2 to 4%.
All right. Questions, concerns?
Make a motion that we accept the Light and Water Community Grant.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right. Can you believe it? Is that time of
Boy.
year? Seasonal employment posting. So we sat down, we looked, we have sent out offer letters to staff that have worked last year, returning staff. So those have been processed. And then we sat down and talked about what positions that we have left that we need to be able to fill. So the list that you see up here is the list that we would like to post. So as always, we ask you all to approve that hiring list. And yeah, there you go. Easy peasy.
And recreation attendants are just like the utility guys, like the guys and girls, the snack shack.
Parking, special events. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our grade 1, step 1 grade.
That can't do their counts, but that is specifically for canteen.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Half the list there. Yeah, that's the list there. Oh, you take one. Okay.
They're all spread around.
Yeah. That's the one in each of us.
And the rates are, oh yeah, just according to the schedule and all that stuff.
Yep.
You feel bad. It's-
Feel bad about them. I know you
no.
guys almost raked us over the coals a couple of years ago.
Yeah, DCR.
Had us all
You can't compete
scrambling.
with $25 an hour.
That was horrible.
You feel bad enough. If you have like,
I'm gonna have to go work at Walden or something.
yeah.
All right, any questions, concerns, comments? Motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the seasonal employment postings as stated.
Second? Anyone?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
All right, Mr.
Yeah,
Jim,
the mystery voice.
All right.
we have mystery rules?
So we usually have a mystery.
Oh, you-
I know, yeah.
Usually have the ceiling talking to us at some point.
Yeah.
All right, so annual discussion on Longleat Beach operations and rates. Based off of last year, we did do a little bit of an increase last year. My recommendation is probably going to be just kind of hold where we are. I didn't really get a good chance to see what we could tolerate at that level last year because Mother Nature was unkind to us. And we're just going to kind of walk down through everything. I know there were some questions at the select board meeting as well as just kind of wanting some more transparency. There's a lot that goes on at the beach. So just kind of to walk everybody through some of these numbers and just to kind of show what we're actually trying to cover when we make this number. It's not arbitrary. It comes from a place of, caution and on both sides of not being in a deficit, but also, we were asked at the beginning of my employment, not to make this something that becomes a cash cow. Now, we do run into this seesaw where, we're at the mercy of the weather. We're at the mercy of kind of everything that goes on. So without further ado, we will kind of go through this. If you have any questions, please stop me. So the first sheet that you see here is just our past 5 years of operation at Long Lake Beach. As you can see, we really kind of stay between $5,000 of revenue, give or take, in the memberships. So 38, 35, 38, 45, 38 is where we kind of live there. Our biggest summer was 2022. That was coming out of COVID when we were really ramping up. We kind of have everything really dialed in. We had a great staff that year. We had really, really good enforcement of the policies, and we had the support of the town administrator's office, and we really were able to get everything right in the sweet spot where we wanted it to be. as you can see, you know, that was our biggest year at $43,000 in profit. Where we kind of ran into that year, we had lower wages. We also had lower expenses that year. Summer 2019, we had pretty heavy expenses. That was my second year here. And we started to replace some of the equipment, do some, you know, major upgrades to the property. So we had high expenditures then. 2020, obviously, everybody knows what happened, the C word. So we were a little bit in the weeds there. We ran really high wages because we had to have the extra staff on board for social distancing and everything that went along with that. And we saw a little bit of a decrease in our revenues because we were limiting the amount on the front side of it. Summer 2021, that's when we really got things kind of dialed in. As you can see, that was the first year that we were stable and, you know, turned a $9,000 profit. Summer 22, we talked about that. And then we got to last year. So last year we had a couple things that kind of happened to us. Number one, the weather, which I'll talk about in my next slide. Number two, we had some expenses that we didn't necessarily want to incur, but we needed to. So mainly that was with our sailing, as well as replacing one of the freezers in the snack shack. So we had some really high revenue that was then really impacted. If you flip to the next slide for me, I'll go into it a little more. So weather-wise, we had all 4 weekends in June we lost to rain. We didn't open for a single day, weekend day in June. We had 3 out of our 4 weekends of July rained out, and we had 1 of our weekends in August rained out. So we were open only 52 out of our potential 71 days. Memberships were down 8%, day passes were down about 10%, and Snack Shack was down about 10% in sales. Wages increased due to the minimum wage, returning staff grade step. We are very, very fortunate to have most of our staff come back, but that levies us a higher payroll most of the time. And then 3 years ago, it was the Park Commission's vote to pay the staff regardless of if we closed for weather or not. It was coming into an issue where it was, you know, they were making a commitment to us, and unfortunately, you know, they can't control the weather, and some of these guys just weren't making a paycheck for the whole summer. That was the first year that we really saw significant rainfall, and then that was one of the corrections that was made by the commission. Higher than normal spending. It was a capital request, but we did purchase a fleet of new sailboats. The total on that after shipping and after shipping and the actual boats and all the parts and everything that we had to do, it came out to $15,060. We needed to replace our Zodiac. So our Zodiac, we had planned to replace every 5 years. We were at that point. That was an additional $9,500. We purchased the new refrigerator, which was a little under $5,000. And then if you remember, we had the ADA compliance that we followed up on. So that was another $5,200, putting up the fencing and fixing the mats and doing some of that kind of stuff. The other piece that we incurred that's not on here is we took a couple deliveries from Graves because we kept getting the washouts from all the rain. So that was right around the tune of about $1,200 on top of that. So when you look at the spending across the board, if you take away this approximate, you know, just a little under $30,000, when you take away all the stuff that we don't normally spend in a year, we come pretty flat with our expenses falling in the $20,000 to $30,000 range. Questions about that? All right. So moving on, this is just a brief history on where we've come with these rates. 2019 was the first year that we increased the rates. My first summer here, it was already April. The rates had already been approved at $25. So we kind of rode that out. 2019, we figured, hey, we got to course correct here and try to figure this out. So that's our first raising of the rates. We tolerated those for 3 years. And then we went and it was the, I forget who made the motion, but we changed, and that's when we added the senior couple rate. Then in 2022, that was the first time that we bumped the resident rate again. The non-resident rate had been bumped pretty significantly. And then we raised that one as well, $25. We also did a across the board raise to try to get us to where we were. And as you can see, you know, in 2022, that's when we had that really good summer. The rates were were well received. Everything kind of went along. We hit all of our marks. We had wonderful weather. Everything kind of fell into place for us. So looking at that, if you look under each of these, so membership revenues are there for each of the years. The numbers next to the family, individual, couple, and senior are actual people. So it's not like 402 family memberships. It's 402 people that we served under that particular membership. So you can see where, you know, in the right around the 350 to 400 is our average family membership. Last year, we saw a significant drop in that because of the weather. We had a lot of, we had day passes and stuff coming in, but we had a lot of memberships that just were never picked up last year, never came and paid for them. Unfortunately, I will say that, you know, having the change that we did and having the management affect that a little bit. It was a little laissez-faire last year as far as enforcing some of this, but that's one of the things that I, you know, ask of this board and of, you know, our police and everything else is the assistance in helping to police that and helping to spread the message that, you know, it doesn't matter where you're coming from or if you walk there, ride your bike or drive your car there, you know, every little bit counts. And in order to have the lifeguards there, in order to have the bathhouse open and everything that comes with funding the beach. This is why we have these measures in place. Going into last year, the only thing we did was we bumped the resident rate by $10. Everything else stayed flat. So like I said, last year we didn't really get a good shake based off the 2022's numbers. I think that we're where we should be if we had the ability to be open. Other things that go into effect, you know, when we talk about, okay, well, how are we actually getting to that $140,000 number? So sailing is a big number. Our sailing program helps bring in approximately $35,000. And when I say these numbers, they're gross numbers. Obviously, a lot of this is coming back out because of all of the money that we're spending on staff and equipment. So one of the things that we are adding this year is we're going to add a kids kayak fishing program. So that is something that I'm looking to bring out about an additional $20,000 worth of revenue. Once again, that's a gross number prior to paying staff and all the equipment and stuff we have to do. But we're going to be bringing that on board and just, you know, really just dialing it back in on staff and getting back under, putting everything back under my microscope and taking back kind of the reins on that. Questions about that?
So the wages include the sailing staff?
Yes, everybody who works at Long Lake Beach. Okay. So it also includes like Ken's hours when he's billed there last year and stuff. So our robotics director, all that kind of stuff.
Right. You know, just once you're pulling the sailing program out, revenue-wise, understanding that that's already included in the.
Yeah, that all goes into the beach account.
Yeah, and you know, sailing is one of those ones that, you know, with our ratios, we run really heavy on staff, so we burn through that pretty quickly.
And so Camp T comes down daily, right? Or
correct. Yep.
Assuming whatever that. Does that add a lifeguard or is there a?
So a couple of years ago, what we did was we were taking on the burden when I first started of bringing in the extra lifeguards in order to cover Camp T. What was happening was twofold. So we couldn't tolerate having that many lifeguards there all day. So we were trying to get people to cover like 2 and 4 hour shifts and just was making the whole operation just hard to run. So what we did was 2019, I think, was the first year we did it. Then 20 was the year that we really kind of got. So now we train certain Camp T. Any of the counselors can opt to be a lifeguard. And while they're at Long Lake with the campers, we pay them at the lifeguard rate. So they get a little bit of a bump on their hourly rate by helping us to lifeguard for those. So we have lifeguards in the junior camp that are counselors, lifeguard in the senior camp who are counselors. So at that point, obviously Camp T is paying their wages. So it kind of balances it out. I didn't know if you were asking, like, will this camp kind of pay back for that? they don't really have to because they bear those wages on their own, and the cost of the trainings for lifeguards.
But prior to that, yes, that was something the lifeguards, would do and was taken out of beach wages.
That was one of the things in the first couple of years that really helped us get back to
Yeah.
that 0 number.
What's our senior age? I went ahead and I
60.
saw it narrow.
It is 60. All right. Good. Do we want to keep going? All right. So obviously, as I stated, and I'm sorry, I made a typo there. I kind of want to keep everything flat this year. So the family resident rate will be the $90, $150 for non-residents. We did change the verbiage of that last year, so it's for up to 5 people. There's a $10 and $15 respective additional charge to include sitter or grandparents after that. Individuals 30, 50, couples 90, 95.
That's 50, 95.
Sorry. Individuals are 30, 50.
Yeah, I think couple is 9.
Oh yeah, couple. I'm sorry. That is 50, 95.
Okay.
Seniors are 15, 25.
Yeah.
Senior couple is 25, 40. Placement membership cards are $5. Day passes per parking are 15 and 20. Per person rate is 4 and 5, and boat rentals are 15 and 25. Sorry, I forgot to change a couple of those. So if you go back to the other slide, one back, Alicia. So the bottom rates are what we're looking at. So 90, 150, 30, 50, 50, 95, 15, 25, and 25 and 40.
We have a sense of how many out of towners use the beach versus
It's about a 60-40 split right now.
50
yeah.
residents, 40.
60 resident, 40 out of town. Yeah, generally we always see more residents than we see non-resident use. So this is a question that comes up all the time. We are the cheapest game in town. We are not doing this to turn a profit or, yeah, you can keep going 2 slides down, please. We're not doing this to make crazy profits or anything else. So really, you know, when you look at our surrounding neighbors, Nara Park, these are their rates for this year. I'd like you to notice that this is the early bird rate. This rate doubles.
Us. Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you do not get that, it will be almost a little. It's a good it's a good kind of look. You know, we have this beautiful natural pond. The rates that we're charging for it, the facilities we have. You know, this is a man-made facility here. Mirror Lake, if you look at the same thing, so you're looking at $110 for a 4-person pass, $165 for 5. So, you know, our 5-person pass is coming in at $80 right now. So that's what we really, you know, when we're comparing to, well, what are other towns doing? What are other park and recreations doing? I can't believe, you know, we're doing this here. Well, this is the norm. And this is, you know, communities that are not only adjacent to us, but run extremely, extremely similar programming at their lakes, minus the standard equipment. So when you kind of look at some of these numbers, that's really what, you know, when you guys are thinking about setting the rates, that's what we take into consideration.
Maybe not for this year, but have we? Well, is Nara the only one that does a substantial early bird, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, typically what people do for the early bird rate is they offer last year's rate and then they bump it.
Okay.
So,
I mean, certainly you see that across a lot of sporting activities. I buy a ski pass in April at a substantial discount too, and they have my money all year.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the weather is, I've already paid, and so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is worth considering. have a,
I would say we could absolutely consider that. But I would almost have to suggest that our early bird rate is where we're at. And because I mean, like I said, the numbers are really hard to get to zero right now. It takes a lot of really good luck to get there.
right.
Weather, good weather.
And our programs, I mean, we've been very fortunate that our sailing program has exploded and done as well as it has done. Our yoga program has just been awesome out there in the mornings. Layla does a great job at that. So we have some really good stuff that's going on down there helping us with that. I think the big thing to look at is, when you look at the beach rates are essentially, for round numbers, 30% of keeping that place open. The memberships, when you look at, $30,000 coming in every year, 30 to 40. So it's 30 to 40% of the operating costs for lifeguards. The lifeguards alone are costing us between $65,000 and $85,000 a year.
And I don't expect you to know this off the top of your head, but like in general, towns around us, like, do they do a small increase every year, or do you know, like, is there a standard industry standard kind of thing?
I don't think there's an industry
I don't
standard.
really think there's an industry
I think it's
standard.
like us, right?
Everybody looks at their year last year and says, this is where we ended up and this is where we have to go.
Yeah.
The most significant increases that I've seen, like, coming out of COVID, NARA really kind of took off.
Yeah.
Devon's, they're pretty much the same, give or take a couple dollars. I think, when we first set the daily rate, Devon's was where we had looked at Mirror Lake, and they were at the 4.5 and now they're at the 8.6. So,
And then what is how many day passes do we sell? Do we have that?
we can, it's in the POS.
Didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah, it's not on these slides because we were talking about memberships. I can get you that information. I would say on an average day, we probably sell 10 to 15, on a weekend, probably 20 to 30.
So and is it, if you do a car, is that 4 people, or is that?
So when you come with your car, your parking covers your car and you,
Okay.
and then you pay for each additional person based on their residency who's in the car.
Okay.
The same is supposed to happen when you walk onto the beach. Is, if you don't have a membership, your resident's $4 for the day. If you're non-resident, it's $5 for the day. And we work with people a lot. If you come and you have your 2 nieces with you, we'll typically give you the resident rate for everybody. We're very kind of willing to work with people when it comes to those things. But yeah.
And we have given scholarship money out to families that weren't able to afford, so we do that as well.
So I'm really taking round numbers here, but somewhere between 10 and 20,000 a year for the day pass revenue. So
He's not a round number kind of guy.
I would say it's probably somewhere in that range. It's probably fair to say. I'll get you the exact numbers on what we did. Unfortunately, they're not in the same thing because they fall under the POS. Yeah. So I didn't pull those numbers. Say
no. So I think that was one of the questions from the joint meeting was, what is I think it was more the
why
the individual walk on.
Right, but why do we do that?
Is that a significant portion or not?
And why? And
I mean, it could be.
Right.
It should be. As you guys can see, highest use of Long Lake is after we leave and everybody walks down there. But
they drive down too.
Yeah. It's all of the things, but it should, and I remind people it goes into just because the higher usage comes up with a whole bunch of stuff. When we go to replacing sand, when we go to replacing all of the things that go with it, every little bit helps because it is all coming out of somewhere.
Well, I think also for the neighbors, I have to imagine that if people feel like they can park somewhere else and walk in, then we get more overflow traffic in the neighborhood.
Well, a lot of people, you know, especially during COVID, a lot of people caught on, and that's why we enforce the walking policy so much. Is our overflow parking lot is shaken lane. We get a lot of people who park up there and then try to just walk in, you know, just because we do send people there once we're full. You know, the other piece is when we talk about, you know, pumping the tight tank or the trash being there or the new boat rack. Oh, that was the other thing that was almost 10 grand was we put in the new canoe racks last year. That wasn't on the sheet. I apologize. Those kind of things that we field a lot of complaints and phone calls and everything about, you know, that doesn't happen by magic. And it takes everybody doing their part and helping pay because, yeah, even though you're sitting there, you know, I'm sure people have used the trash. I pick up more dog poop in the morning from the dog, you know.
Yeah.
And it makes its way in the receptacle, but that's a cost to remove that, right? So all of those things go into the play. And that's why it is important that even, you know, when people are walking there that, you know, get the membership and everything will kind of keep going and it's not something that we're doing to try to make money. And it's not, you know.
So to answer that why question, the options are, you know, the town could put that in their budget in a general fund and cover everything. That's a choice, right? But that's not the choice that's been made and that's not where we're at. So the only way to be able to fund it is through the revolving and to collect those memberships so that we can provide those lifeguards for safety and provide all of the equipment, maintenance, all of those things that need to happen out there to operate it safely, securely, so people can enjoy their time there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there are, right, the coastal beaches charge for parking and function that way. Mm-hmm. But obviously Nara, park in Nara for free, but we can't use the beach for free. So there are different models for places. So
and that's across the board. Yeah. And I try not to ever compare us to any of the coastal beaches because it's a completely different animal and we're not that. But yeah, as far as lake operations go, not, you know, just in Massachusetts, but across the country, we are very much meeting the status quo of what we go to.
So I'm sorry. How do you is there like a parking lot monitor for the day or
the rec attendants? So that base one that you guys just approved, they do the snack shack, then they go to the parking lot, and then they go do trash cleanup, and then that's their rotation for the whole day.
So if someone's up at the snack shack and they see a car come in that may or may not have a pass, they'll go out.
So when you pull down the driveway, there's somebody sitting there in a tent, and they'll check your sticker in your car, they'll check your memberships.
Gotcha.
And then if you don't have that, they allow you to park, but they make sure that you go right to the window to take care of whatever you need to get for the day. That's why it gets hard because then, you know, we almost need another staff member to police people walking onto the beach. So that's part of that cleanup area. We have people who walk around and hand out wristbands. They check your pass, they hand you a wristband, they ask you to go up to the window and, you know, pay for your day pass if you don't have one. That's when people generally like, oh, I just walked down here and now I'm going to leave. So it's, you know, it's tough having those conversations, and our staff does a really good job, you know, monitoring it for the most part and doing it, but it can be a very intimidating thing.
Mm-hmm.
What about the other side, like when people can park over
at the boat ramp?
No, the other side, like the little park, Lakeshore Drive, kind of like, is there somebody sitting there too?
No, I mean, we go down and we check those cars like once every 30 minutes. And if somebody's coming up, the parking lot attendant generally will police that. They'll walk down, or one of the lifeguards will check people as they walk in. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's actually two motions. So the first motion that I would look for is for you guys to approve the rates if you're done talking about the rates, and then we'll get on to like operating season.
All right. Questions, comments, concerns?
So if we went back to these rates 2023 rates are the same.
So it would be the same, no
2024.
increase in here, yeah. And praying for good weather.
I'm just gonna say.
I was just gonna say, and
Yeah.
pray the sun comes out a lot more than it did last year.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for the same rates as 2023 for all of the categories.
Second. No.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let's have it.
Yeah, and just to follow up, I think let's see how this goes and consider using these rates as an early bird next year and encouraging people to buy whatever it is, May, instead of waiting to pick them up and pay the first nice day or
We're already.
yes, but there's no stick that goes with it, or no carrot or stick to go through that.
So this, as soon as we approve all of this, I'm gonna open it where you have to pay this year.
You have to, they won't.
Well, you can't reserve it without
We
paying.
Right.
used
I
to
see,
do it,
okay.
yes,
It was kind of like the honor system.
so we're not doing that.
We're not gonna do
Good.
it.
But you're not gonna sell out.
You'll never sell it, I mean, essentially,
So you can still wait till your first day to go buy it.
you could, yep, but if you buy one, you ahead of time and want to have it picked up, you have to pay it.
Yes.
All right, I don't know what happened to these last two slides. I was trying to get them on there and I think I just copied the wrong ones. So, this one would be Saturdays and Sundays from May 31st through June. Yeah, I messed up the dates on this. I don't know why. So Saturdays and Sundays only from May 31st through June 23rd. And then full-time operations would begin on the 25th.
Right,
And they-
and as we're
that's-
talking.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Can we do that?
And then tentatively, again, we will run through the weekend of August 25th. So that's Sunday. And then if we can work that final weekend based off of staffing, we'll do that same as last year, but we'll play that bigger. So right now, the official last day would be the Sunday, the 25th. We have the staff to go longer into the season, we will. This is all correct. So hours of operation Monday through Thursday. Lifeguards 10 to 5:30. Snack Shack is 10 to 6. Last boat rentals are at 5. Fridays and Saturdays. Lifeguards 10 to 6:30. Lifeguards on duty. Snack Shack 10 to 7. Snack Shack and rentals with the last boat at 6. We had put that stipulation in for days it was really busy last year, with the discretion of the aquatics director and myself to, call it a day at 5:30 if it was, slow or something like that. So I would hope that we could kind of do the same thing with that. And then Sundays, based off of business, what it's been in the past 5 years that we've done this is 11 a.m. is our start to 5:30. Snack Shack's 11 to 6, and the last boat is at 5.
You said earlier, you said the staff get paid on rain days. Do they get paid a full day or a partial day, or is it
So if we bring them in and we send them home, we pay them for the full shift.
Okay.
If we know that it's going to rain and we call them off ahead of time, that they might be able to pick up their second job or whatever, we pay them 4 hours.
So May 25th through June 16th is the weekends only, right?
May 31st.
May 31st.
Sorry. Nope. It's my fault. I copied the wrong slides. May 31st. Yep, that Friday.
Is there a tendency on Sundays, just people coming in later, just the start time is 11 versus 10?
We don't see anybody before 11:30 on Sundays.
To church.
It's a good church going, folks.
Yeah, we've never had an early start on Sundays ever.
So there.
When was the last date? Sorry,
Absolutely.
Of the summer.
August.
Yeah, so it plays out, right?
Yep, and we'll do the following weekend if we have staffing.
Okay.
But Littleton goes back to school that week, so same boat as last year.
All right, any questions or other questions about operating dates for 2024? Motions for operating dates of 2024.
To approve the operating schedule as corrected.
Second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We are rocking and rolling.
Right. So I think just the last thing to say is, if anybody ever has any questions or wants information or just, needs to talk about something, my office's door is always open. Please come and, come see us or come to the snack shack and, ask for one of us, myself or Alicia or the aquatics director. I think the new person that we're going to talk about is going to help bear some of that role. She does have some background in aquatics. So that's, we get a lot of things that's either misinformation or people just don't have an understanding of what we're doing. So, the ask is just please always come to us and we'll give you whatever information that you might be looking for or need help trying to figure out. Like Alicia mentioned, we do have the scholarship fund. So anybody who does have trouble bearing the cost, just like any other program, come see Alicia and we can, help out with beach memberships and stuff like that.
Okay, so staffing updates. We have 2 individuals that we would like to hire. And the program coordinator, our proposed candidate is Rachel Berg. She already has her certified Parks and Rec. Actually, she has her certified Parks and Rec executive.
She's working on that.
Is she? Okay. So that's amazing. Like usually only directors would have that. So she's really, gone ahead with that. She's currently a recreational specialist for the city of Knoxville in Tennessee. She's been there for 3 years. She grew up in New Hampshire, so she's looking to come back home. So she is very excited about the opportunity to come work for Littleton Parks and Rec. And our second person, Melanie Kirsch, she is currently a part-time admin for Beverly Recreation in Beverly, Mass. And she also was a summer camp director and camp counselor for Beverly Rec for about 9 years. So both people are absolutely phenomenal, did excellent job interviews. We would be very fortunate to have these 2 ladies on our team. So yeah. Questions, comments, concerns?
Very good candidates.
Yeah. And Peter was able to interview both of them because both had applied for the program coordinator position. But we figured we'd take a shot and ask Melanie if she was interested in her. And she was. So yeah.
Do we need to vote on
Yes.
approval of the candidates?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you 3 and anybody else interviewed them or?
So the 3 of us, we did the first round. In the second round, we brought in Kaz and Kelsey, seeing as they're going to be working directly, especially with program coordinator. So yeah. Everybody was on board. Yep, very excited.
She's got a lot of energy. She's
A lot of energy.
her after school program right now has 450 some kids in it. So, it'll be good. She'll be a great addition to the team, and Melanie, Rachel beat her out with her experience, really.
Yeah.
That's all it came down to. I think Melanie's going to be a great asset. She's already working in the admin role. If Rachel wasn't there, Melanie would have been shoo-in too for the spot. Yeah. So it'll be nice to, cautiously say, it'll be nice to help her kind of spread her wings, but it could be something that, if an opportunity comes up, she could be short time for us, just so everybody's kind of aware of that. Yeah. but it's a good position for us to be in, especially going into the summer to have both of them.
She is looking to have her career be in recreation.
So is the thought that Rachel would do beach summer, sort of like Ken was doing beach in summer or after school program and
So we're gonna have some conversations with our current program coordinators, and then what we like to do is kind of look at what everyone's strength is, and where their passions are. So you know, we'll have those conversations and assort those tasks out appropriately. Yeah.
Our preliminary conversations, that's kind of where the chips go.
Yeah.
cool. All right, any comments, concerns? Motions?
I'll make a motion to accept the 2 candidates for the program coordinator and office coordinator positions.
Second thought? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, who seconded that one? You did.
So
Thank
I
you.
don't think I can second things, right? I don't think.
Official rules of
Robert.
I have seen other
Yes.
boards where the chair does many things, so.
I don't think Robert would be pleased with that. I thought like I couldn't, I think I could second, but I can't make motions, right? Isn't that how it
I don't
goes?
think that you should, but it has happened. And there are awkward situations where you have a quorum, but there's only 3, you know, so
Somebody's gotta do it.
it gets, yeah.
I'm more than willing to do it. I just have to say, I was trying to find Robert's rules and I know you're out and be a good public servant.
All right, new business, actually, this is old business, so I'm not sure why I have it on new business. Update on the light poles. Obviously, we learned whilst we were in the meeting last time that the second pole was knocked down.
We were talking about, is it stable?
Right, yes, so no. And it did, honestly, I did have the conversation with Highway about the concern about the stability for the concrete. And they assured me that that was not the issue. The first one was hit at apparently pretty high speed. And the second one was hit like pretty much straight on by a snowplow. So things happen, they do. Which honestly, there is a bright side, a silver lining to this. So we will replace them with LEDs, which is great, right? That's going to actually cut down, hopefully, on our utility costs. We'll see over time. But we're also going to get the same product that's used in the school parking lots. That way, it's a lot more, I don't want to say interchangeable, but more easily accessible, right?
Keep a spare around.
Keep one in, that's exactly what I told Steve. I said, let's keep one in the container.
Yeah. So, because obviously, you know, this has been like, I don't know, it's been before Christmas, right? That the first one got knocked down. So, it's been quite some time to get this fixed.
Just while we're.
Yeah.
Do you want to go there, Sal?
Probably not.
No.
I mean, the park is closed at dusk.
Mm-hmm.
There is enough light from the existing
Agreed.
lighting that you can see through the parking lot. Is there a regulation or a guidance or something that causes us to put additional lighting in there?
Oh, that's a great question. No. No. Yeah, that's a great question.
We did use it.
I think for emergency purposes, that would be my understanding. And additionally, so it's like, I remember seeing buildings that were like completely empty and all the lights were on. I'm like, why would they do that? Right? They're wasting all that energy. And the point is that if there's a break-in or if that somebody's there that shouldn't be there, now you can see that. So I would say probably for those two reasons, I'm sure is why. But I don't have a specific, like, yes, it's this or yes, it's that. But that's a great question.
Yeah, nice to make sure that either we need them or we want them on, because it doesn't, not sure that it serves any company.
Is it a deterrent?
I think
Is it a deterrent?
it
It's
is.
more of a deterrent.
Yeah.
Neighbor, there's still a fair amount of light. Yeah, even back to the basketball courts, just with what's there now, like the street light, whatever is there. And it's sort of extra light pollution, extra light.
Yeah.
If we don't. Or if, maybe it's they're off most of the time. If you have an event or see somebody at the night turn on.
Right. Yes, there is a goal.
Okay, there you go.
There is that it has.
All right, fair enough.
I thought you were going with how did we hit two of them?
That's where I thought you were going
That's
as
where you
well.
were going.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, if you hit one, you gotta hit the other.
Yeah.
It looks
So no, it
awkward.
went left.
Feng shui, feng shui.
Feel left out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But they're still relighting, right?
excellent.
And
we
this
went-
is something we would have had to have updated at some point anyway, so now we'll consider that.
It's been up the process.
Without knocking down a light pole and get two of them reduced.
Who picked up the cost for the pole lights?
So the first one was insurance, so insurance will cover that because an individual driving in the parking lot did that. And the second one, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be highway or again, if that's an insurance thing. So I could get a better answer.
No.
It's like because it was town, you can't actually
Get insurance.
Wait,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's
can't
like-
make
you
it.
can't
No.
Can't claim against
yourself,
yourself.
so it just gets paid out, but it's not actual.
So
It's kind of like if you backed into your own car, you can't file
You can actually.
Can you?
Yeah.
Then they
You just your brakes again.
what would you?
Well, just depends on whether your brakes go up more than your cost or whatever it is you do.
Intriguing.
If you back into your
You
garage,
guys have had really good questions tonight. Yes, we do.
anything you do to your house, you did for the most part. Like,
That's true, but except the tree. Except the tree.
All right.
All right.
So new business, MRPA conference. So, we kind of went back and forth over this. So we are going to have limited staffing, to cover the office, when the Massachusetts Park and Rec Association annual conference takes place. So we are looking at requesting to close the office, on those 2 days. Our programs, like the club, the after school program will still take place. We do have staff set for those programs. But I think, we've got our brand new staff that's coming in and, being able to have some of that time with the current staff, like old staff, I should current, to sort of take advantage of that time to really strategically plan and be able to sort of start those relationships. And I think it would be really beneficial for everyone to have the opportunity to be able to go this year. So that was just something that we thought about. We figured we would ask all of you how you feel about that. And if you do think that that's a good idea, then yeah, we would have to go through.
Are the new folks scheduled to be on board by then?
So it's Rachel's first day. That's the other reason. There's not really any reason to leave them behind because there's not much for them to learn. Whereas going to the conference and actually, being with us and going to some, there's really good speakers this year. There's a lot to do. Just as a, your quarterly reminder, you all are also part of the Massachusetts Park and Rec. So you can also come with us. The dinner and the vendor hall and everything are awesome. There's a couple really good socials, but
You went one year.
I did.
The
I might go to
courses
the
are
show
not
for one
just geared towards the professionals. There is a lot of valuable information for commissioners. There are, full towns that all they have is commissions, and they do come to the conference. So Definitely something, if you want more information or you want me to register you for a day, stop by the office and I can show you guys what it's all about, because it's a really, really awesome resource.
Where is this?
No,
It's in, the Sheridan 4 Points in Needham.
Is that where I was last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Same was
I thought it was
Needham,
Norwood.
Norwood.
Norwood. I was like,
Yeah,
you know, that's why I said Norwood.
Sorry, yes.
Norwood.
So, I'm gonna drive down for the day, let us know, we can get you
Yeah,
registered.
pretty close.
Early bird special, I think, is ending soon, so.
Everybody's getting a little bit excited.
Everybody got
Yeah,
early
early bird special.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, any questions, comments, concerns?
Make a motion to approve the closing of the office Tuesday, March 19th, Wednesday, March 20th, for MRPA attendance.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Guys. Good. Old business. So this is just update on the open space and recreation plan. Sort of had our last meeting.
The never ending last.
The never ending last meeting. So we do have a final draft, which I did attach. I think Eli sent another one over the weekend, so I'll send that one out. So you guys can have access to that. But essentially, the committee is requesting a letter of support from the Park and Rec Commission, which would be due by March 15th. So this gives us about a month to review that, look at it, and then the ability to actually have the letter and sign it at the March meeting, which would be great, because then they can go whoop, straight into the report, and then right to the state. So, yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns about that? Yeah. Okay. Cool. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so next week we have our annual Ties and Tiaras dance. It will be just like last year. We'll have it over in the middle school cafeteria. There will be dinner, and then it will be followed by dancing. So we got DJ Mike back. This event has grown in popularity year after year. Last year there was a lot of frantic people calling us moments before we opened the doors. Please, 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 if you're watching this, or you know somebody who wants to go, tickets are pre-sale only. We need to know how much food to buy. We need to have everything else that goes into that. So registration closes at 4 p.m. on the Wednesday before the event. So please, please, please make sure that you are not doing that. Kaz and I had quite the time last year trying to get everybody's needs met. We got everybody in. We did run out of food, but
we ordered more food.
Yes.
Pizza.
So, yep, these events are awesome to run. We love doing it, but we really do need everybody to abide by the deadlines.
Yeah.
So wait, that's the 14th or the
16th, Friday.
No, the deadline.
The deadline is the 14th.
Okay.
So 2 days prior to
2 days.
I need to finalize the food order 48 hours before the event. So that when that closes at 4 o'clock, I'll place the final order and we'll be all set.
Yeah, so just for people, anybody listening, watching, or sharing.
Yep. And we'll have most of your kids anyway, because ski club, that's the last day, Valentine's Day.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And you guys, we have the postcards. Those will be going out in the next couple of days. Decided to do something a little bit different. Yeah. And we'll have the brochure out middle of the week, end of the week. Yep.
What's the target age range on this again?
Over the dance.
Kindergarten through 6th grade.
I guess if you're older and you want to come, you can come, right? This is
Yes.
Paula. call us. If you're older and you want to come, give us a call. We'll take care of you. Okay.
Comments, questions, concerns? Motions to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No.
Let's make it fun.
I know, look at that. And this is a beach rates meeting, and